welcome back to Guide to Solidworks. What we're going to do today is have a look at the Solidworks tutorials, and this is going to be a series of videos running through the range of Solidworks tutorials. So first of all, let's look at how we get to the Solidworks tutorials. Now if we load up Solidworks, we get this screen. If we go to the home icon at the top here, and we go to learning in the top section across here. Now we've got a range of different options here. We've got an introduction to SolidWorks. The bit that I'm interested in is this center one, which is the tutorial section. So if we click on the tutorials, and this is where we get all of our different tutorial section in here. Now we're going to start with the getting started one today. I'm going to start with this introduction to SolidWorks activity here. Now it says it's going to take about an hour. We'll try and get through it a little bit quicker than that. So let's have a fly. So the way that this works, we click on what we want to do and it takes us through step by step. So it's telling us our part that we're going to create and our final outcome drawing we're going to end up with. So let's get started creating this part. So it gives me a process of how to set up what it wants me to do. I can even click the buttons in here if I'm not sure where they are, and it will highlight them on the screen for us. So I'm going to open up a new part, like so. Now it just asked me a few things. Now dimensions are always set to standard ANSI, but our units and things may not be. So if we want to check our units at the bottom, we want to make sure we're on mmgs, which is our millimeters, grams and seconds. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start creating this circle for the shape of the object. So I'm going to go into my extrude button, I'm going to pick this top plane and I'm going to create a circle. Okay, so once I've got that circle in here, I'm going to click OK there, and then I'm going to need to add some dimensions to this. So it's telling me now I want to dimension up, so using the Smart Dimension tool, I'm going to dimension this circle to 128. Once I've got that circle in place, just make sure I've clicked the tick and moving on. It's now asking me to extrude. Because I went into the features and extrude straight away, I can now just click this exit my sketch and it'll bring me back to that extrude icon or extrude option. It's asking me to come up 7mm, so I'm going to change my 10 there to 7 in direction 1. Now what I've got effectively is a disk, so I'm going to start on adding my extra shapes to this. It does tell me to save it. I'm going to do the whole model and then save it at the end. Okay, so the next bit it wants me to do is add another extrusion in, so I'm going to go to extrude again. It's now asking me to select a plane or an object to sketch on, so I'm going to select this top surface and create a sketch of a circle. Excuse me. Now we can change the views, so if I just hit spacebar on my drawing area, it brings up my orientation option. I can either click at the side here to select which view I want, or I can click on here to give me the orientation. I want this circle to be set to 75, so I'm going to use the Smart Dimension tool, click the circle and go to 75mm in there. Now I'm going to offset this circle, so I've got my offset tool in my sketch up at the top here. So click my offset screw tool, I'm going to click the line and it's asking me to offset by 5, so I'm going to change that distance from 10 to 5. And I can either click reverse because at the moment it's showing me that it's on the outside, or I can just click on the inside of that circle and it'll move the line to the inside. I'm going to extrude that line up and it's going to be to that shape, up, and it's going to be to 12mm high. So if I just click the exit sketch there, it'll take me back to the extrude option down the side, and I'm just going to change that to 12. Like so, giving me my base with my extrusion up the side. Now the next bit that I'm going to do is put the hole through the center. So this time I'm going to go to the extrude cut option, click in that surface. I'm going to turn my face straight on using that space bar, and now I'm going to draw a circle in here, like so. Now the size of that circle is going to be set to 25, so let's set that at 25 millimeters. And then I'm going to exit that sketch, and that'll take me back to the cut icon. And I want to make sure that the cut is just going through the model, so I'm just going to go through all there and tick. And we end up with this end condition of the through wall and the hole in the center, like so. Now the next bit is adding some fillets on, so it's now asking us to do fillets on these two faces in green. So the fillets are going to be to 2 millimeters. So if I go to fillet, and it's just a constant fillet, so I'm going to click on this top face here, and I'm going to click on this side face here. Now at the moment it's not previewing anything because the size is too big. I need to reduce that size to 2, and we'll get a preview if we make sure that we've got the full preview button clicked here so that we can see. Tick at the top, and that'll add in them fillets for us. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in one of the extrusions coming up. So hit extrusion again. I'm going to come to the top plane so I can see straight on. I'm going to sketch on this surface here. Now I'm going to take a center line, as it's telling me to at the side, come from my origin and go straight up. Okay, on the end of that I'm going to add a circle, like so. So I've just followed along here, so I've just added a circle on the end of that center line, so we've got that image now. Moving along, it's just asking me to put some dimensions to this, so I'm going to come 35 out from the origin, and I'm going to set a diameter of the hole here as 27. Exiting that sketch again, it now gives me the option to extrude. So I'm extruding that shape, like so here, and I want to extrude it by 30 millimeters. So turn that 12 to a 30, and tick to show that I am happy. Now it's just telling me here to put it in a trimetric view, so I can just click the space bar, get my options, and turn it to trimetric, like so. Now it doesn't matter that it's showing it in the opposite direction to what it is on there, still in the same view. Now once I've got that, I am going to put my hole through the center, so I'm going to have to create a cut on this top face. I'm going to create a circle. Now if I move to the outer face and hover around that, you'll see it highlights in dotted yellow, and you'll get the center mark for that circle. So we move to that, click on it, draw in a circle, and I want that circle there to be a diameter of 15. So just jumping ahead on the next thing, the circle diameter of 15 there. Like so. And if we tick that, so we've got our 15mm diameter in there. We're going to exit this sketch, and we're going to make our end condition here for direction 1 through all, which just takes it all the way through that material, and tick there. Okay, so that leaves us in the same position now as what we have in this model view, so I'm just going to fly on to the next bit, and the next bit is to add in the fillets. Now there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can just move it around and do it. It's asking us here to change it to a hidden line visible. So if I come to my display style options here, I can move it to my view like so, and what that allows me to do is pick up the lines through the model. So if I now go to fillet, and I'm going to keep that at 2 millimeters, I'm going to select that inside line, I'm going to select that inside line, I'm going to select this top face, and I'm going to select this bottom hole here. Okay, and that will put in all of them fillets in them sections. Take that, I'm happy with that there at the side. And now I'm just going to bring it back out of that view, back to the top one, which is shaded with edging, and you'll see the fillets have all come in. Now the next process is going to be a circular pattern. So I'm going to circular pattern this shape here. So circular pattern. Now it's asking me to select a direction that I want to go around. We need anything with a circular direction. So I'm going to select this inside circle here. Okay, it's currently set at 6 with equal spacing, which is what I want here. It's only picking up the fillet though at the moment, so I need to pick up some more features. So I click on the outside of here, it'll pick up that extrude boss. If I click on the inside there, it'll pick up that cut. And that's picking up all 3 shapes there. Take the top, and I get that patterned around like so. Okay. Now last bit is to add the last fillet in place, which is around the bottom of here. So I'm just going to change the view on this slightly so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go to fillet, keeping it at a 2mm fillet. I'm going to click that bottom line there, which takes me all the way to the outside, and click that inside arc there, and that takes me all around the inside. Okay, tick in my fillet box, and I am happy that that part is now complete. So I'm going to save this, and then we're going to have a look at the drawing part. Okay, so as you can see now we're saved, and we're just moving on now to look at creating the drawing. So this is what we're going to create, this drawing page here. And the first thing we're going to do is go into create the drawing option, and that tells us now go to create a drawing. So the first thing it's asking us to do is go to options in the toolbar. So if I just come up to here at the top, I'm just going to minimize this slightly, and I'm going to go to options here, which should bring up an options box. I'm going to pull that back up. Now it's asking me to go to drawings, display style, click in there, and it's asking me to under tangential edges select remove, and this will hide the edges between the rounded fillets when clicking OK. So we've done that, click OK at the bottom, and now what we're going to do is go to File and create a drawing from this part. So click on File, make a drawing from this part, give it a moment. Okay, so what it's done is automatically pulled up a standard drawing sheet here from our template page. So I'm just going to skip this. If yours doesn't bring this up, just follow this basic step on here, how to get this template up. But it's pulled up the one that's related to this document. Now, what we are now going to do is take this top view here, and I'm going to drag this view into my page like so. Now my scale is set at 2:1 on the page, and yours should still be set at 2:1 on the page. I'll just drop that in there. Okay. Now I've got that model in there, I can move on to my next option, and I'm going to go to my section view option. Now my section view option should be in my layouts. So I'm going to go to section view. If you can't find it, like I say, just click on the symbol here and it'll bring it up for you. And I'm going to create a section view across the center of this model here. Click in there, like so. Now what it's going to ask us to do under cutting line, it's going to ask us a type of cutting line. We are going to want to select tick that, and we get the view that we are after. Our sections come out in a direction to one side. We're just going to flip the direction of that so that we can see it from the other side, like so. I'm just going to move that out slightly, move that up slightly, and then we can see everything that is related to there. Once I'm happy, I'm just going to tick in the box at the top and then move on to the next one. Now the next bit we're going to do is we are going to create a detailed view. So I'm going to go up to detail view at the top. I'm going to have a circle in roughly around there, drag that out and drop it there. Now that will give me a detailed view of the drawing that I am after. So I'm just going to drop that in there for now. Come down so that you can see what we are after in terms of our model. Okay, so once we've got our view in there, it's asking us to click OK and save. I'm not going to save this yet, I'm just going to carry on until the end. Okay, so the last part on this is to add in a final model view, and that is going to be my isometric view. So I'm going to come up to model view at the top of my model here. Now on this palette at the side we should get our different options as long as we've got our model view there highlighted, and I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to find my isometric view here. I can drag that in and drop that wherever I want it, so I'm just going to drop that there. Now it's coming in the isometric orientation, so I'm just going to tick that, but I do want to change its look. I don't want it to be a line, so if I come down on my option bar down here in that, once I've clicked on the shape, I'm now going to select shaded, and that'll put it in as a shaded view for the model there. I'm just going to make that so it's in line with the top of this model below, so it's straight above. I'll put it there so there's a little bit of a gap. Now what I'm going to do in this last bit is move on to add some markings in. So it's asking me now to add some center markings in. So center markings, if I click on the icon you'll see where it is. It takes me into annotation and it's up in this top corner here. Okay, so on the center markings this is where we will mark the centers of holes. So I'm going to click on the center marking option. I'm going to zoom in and you'll see now it's added in the center markings for these holes here, like so. Once we get that view we're just going to tick and we're happy we've got them center markings. Next one is adding center lines, so the option below it is center lines, so I'm going to click on there. And now in this case what I'm after is center lines in this model between them 2 points and on this model between them 2 points as shown here. Once I've got them in place I'm going to tick and I'm happy I've got my center lines in now. Oh, I've missed one off. I want it between this one as well. There we go. Now placing dimensions. So we can go to options, and we can use a process through dimensions. But this is just checking that we're in our right units, but we know we are because we set them up earlier on. So I'm going to go straight into smart dimensions here, smart dimensions, and it shows us below what to dimension up. So the first thing I'm going to dimension up with my smart dimension tool there is that inner circle. Ooh. Okay, so the drawing page actually isn't set up in the right units, so let's set them units up correctly then. So we can do that at the bottom of the page here. If we go to millimeter mmgs, click on there, and it will change them for us. Smart dimension, so we've smart dimensioned that inner, then we're going to smart dimension up the hole in the center of here. Then we're going to set dimension up the outer of that, and then I'm going to set dimension up this outer radius here, like so. Okay, so I can also do the same over here. So carrying on with my dimension tool. With my dimension tool, I'm now going to put some dimensions onto this detail here. So I want to dimension up from there to there, and bring that up. I'm also going to dimension up from this inner edge out to this outer point here, like give me the 37, and I want to also create a dimension for this inner radius here as well, like so. Okay, so the last part of this is modifying dimensions. So if we have some dimensions in place and we want to modify them slightly, we can do. So in terms of modifying dimensions, I'm just going to move that one slightly out of the way. Okay, so for instance, if I've got this dimension of 25 here, if I click on it, it will bring up my dimensions information down the side. If I go into the box where it says dim for the dimension text there, I can now write whatever I want in that box with it. So I'm going to just write through next to that, and it'll come up straight after, like so. Now I can move that around so it's not in the way. Now on the same on this 15, now I know there's 16 holes that are that size, so therefore click on that 6 times before it, and I will get 6 times 15. Now you can see these dimensions are automatically adjusting themselves. I'm just going to have to fit them in the best we can at the moment. It's a little bit more crunched than what I was hoping for. We can move that across. And the 27 here at the bottom, click on that one and do the same. So there's 6 of them as well. And we've made them alterations. Now, once we've done that, we should get a view, if I zoom out slightly, an overview of this being to a point where it's looking very similar to what it is in the original drawing that they've created themselves. So that's just taking you through there how we are getting a model created using the circular pattern, and also then going into a basic sketch and layout for a basic sketch. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. That's taking you fully through that introduction tutorial for SolidWorks tutorials. If you enjoyed the content, please give us a big thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I'll be putting these regular videos on in this new series of tutorials, so I will see you again soon. Bye for now.